Without further ado, please give a warm welcome to the Rouda couple.
And that's basically how I got this gig. In addition to driving her around in Congress while. I have a voice that carries.
Yes, you do.
I will give you that.
Wait, I'll do that one. This one's scary.
Okay, we won't do that again.
So when I was running for re-election, and I was in what's called a swing district, lots of consultants, about 20 consultants, and Kaira was there and decided it would be a good time to let them know what?
That I just sold my next book, and it was about a cheating congressman. And they're all like, no, you can't. I'm like, yes, I did. It's gonna be great. You guys are gonna love it.
It was a fascinating book. It was called The Widow's Mandate, or The Widow, because at that time mandate had become kind of a bad word. But has anybody ever heard the term, the widow's mandate? So this is a pretty common term in politics in a lot of different countries. You came across it.
Yeah, so while he was in Congress, I learned to be a docent at the Library of Congress, which was so fun and an amazing place. And while I was stomping around, I found this display, and it was talking about the widow's mandate, which was actually the primary way most women have been able to serve in Congress was through a dead spouse. And I thought, as a suspense writer, that would be a good hook for me. What happened is usually the governor will appoint the widow to fill the term in Senate, or there's a special election in the House, like Sonny Bono's an example, and John McCain most recently too. And the whole goal was for whatever party it was, they just wanted the widow to hold the seat just until an appropriate guy, could be run the next term. But some of these ladies went on to serve like really illustrious careers, and that's kind of what my story.
Yeah, so dead congressman. So obviously I sleep with one eye open all the time. I've learned that Kaira knows a lot of different ways to kill me. And most of your books do have a little bit of shenanigans going on in them. What is the genre you write? What is it you like to expose?
Yeah, so I like to write about beneath the surface of seemingly perfect lives. And a lot of my books are marriage thrillers because I've been married a really long time, so I have a lot of content. And so it's either marriage thrillers or this book, We Were Never Friends, is about a group of friends, sorority sisters, who are reunited, and they never really wanted to see each other again, but they're forced to reunite. One of their sons is engaged to be married to one of their daughters. And we've had a couple marriages recently of our kids, so that was a very inspiring topic as well, because all of a sudden it's what family means, right? When you get thrown together with when your kids are marrying another family.
And you got to make sure you go to KairaRouda.com and take the quiz to find out which sorority girl you are. I'm happy to let you know that I am Amelia.
He is, as a matter of fact.
I always wanted to know what sorority girl I would end up being, and now I know.
So I thought it'd be fun. You remember like the old Cosmo quizzes and those things? It's just like that, so you can't overthink it, but it's on my website, and just take it really fast, and then you'll find out who you are in the book and whether you're bad or good, actually. Yeah, it's kind of fun. So there's 5 characters in the story. Amelia, who is kind of the party crasher. She wasn't even invited to the engagement reunion, and she just shows up with a +1 of all things. She's a widow of a senator, so it's kind of fitting, which is funny, actually. He didn't know that. And then there's Roxy. She's the queen bee, and she's hosting this reunion. Her son is the one engaged to the protagonist, Beth, daughter. So the story opens with Beth and her daughter driving to Palm Springs and Beth is dreading the whole situation, and her daughter Celeste, of course, is so excited because this is kicking off her engagement weekend. And then we have Sunny, who was the beloved friend of all, and who I forget, Jamie the cardiologist. So those are the characters that you'll find in the story.
And so there's 4 points of view.
Yes.
And it's an interesting way to write. How do you decide whose point of view starts the book and who takes over when?
Yeah, so I'm what they call a pantser. So I write by the seat of my pants. I don't have a plot or any kind of outline. So I'll have a setting pop to mind. So Palm Springs came to mind because I've been spending some time there getting my MFA, and the classes are in the desert. So it's such a great setting for suspense. I mean, there's all those tall hedges and all the movie colonies, stories. And anyway, I thought that would be fun. And then a character will pop into my head. In this case, Beth popped into my head. And since I knew her daughter was going to be marrying somebody, then Roxy popped into my head too. And I didn't really know the rest of them until I started writing. And Roxy would open the door, and then I'm like, oh, this is a fun person. So that's how it kind of went.
And so those are the 4 points of view, and you've done this in some other books. In fact, your breakout book, Best Day Ever, that was from the point of view of a man.
Yes, that was actually kind of crazy. I was writing what they call women's fiction, although all fiction is really women's fiction because women are the majority of the readers, but let's just say it was kinder, gentle topics, and then I kept getting darker and darker. I mean, it's still set in the suburbs where I like set, but it was getting darker and darker, and then one day, this character, Paul Strom, popped into my head, and he's a terrible, terrible man, but sort of compelling character, and I wrote a whole story from his point of view, first person point of view, and he decided that the title of the book is Best Day Ever, and that he would take his wife away for a weekend at their lake house, and the first day would begin with Best Day Ever, and he really has diabolical plans, so that was really fun, and it read really fast.
Where did Paul come from?
Oh, I didn't know until I went on book tour that he was all of my spectacularly horrible male bosses through my career. So it was like my editor at the newspaper, Jay, and then Wes at Stanley Steamer, and then Myron. All of those guys all combined, and they were still trapped up here. So it was great because they all kind of came out, and then I got to like manipulate them.
So this is your 24th book. And ironically, your first book was not a fiction.
Right, was a plot twist. So back in the day, like I said, this was kind of the fifth-ish career, I think. I was journalism and a society column for Columbus for 10 years, which was really fun. And then I went in-house with a with a carpet cleaning company, the aforementioned. And then I was asked by him to start a brand with him. So we created a real estate brand, which is the first one to recognize that women make or control 93% of all home buying decisions. And back then, in 2000, all of the advertisements were two men holding hands or shaking hands in front of a yard sign. So we kind of changed the business, which was really fun. Didn't realize, though, that because of that, I would be asked to write a book for women entrepreneurs because I loved working with everyone, but I'd never really thought about writing a business book. So I did, which results in you having to go on a book tour because I'm like, everything I know is in the book, just read the book. And they're like, oh, no, you need to go on a book tour. I'm like, God darn it, that was another plot twist. So I was in Austin, Texas, speaking to like a bunch of women, and somebody in the audience raised her hand, and she's like, so have you done everything you want to do? Are you living the life of your dreams? And I'm like, I still want to write that novel. And she's like, what are you waiting for? I'm like, you're right. So I went home and finally did what I was telling everybody else to do.
And when do you write?
What do you mean?
Well, do you have like a system as to when you decide to write?
Oh.
I mean, you said you went home and decided to write the great American novel.
Yeah.
What's the process?
Well, I think back then we still had like the kids at home, so it's just dependent on who's around. Like if you're gone out of town, then I'll just write all day and night. It's so fun. But usually he wants me to come, eat dinner and those kind of things. But my typical great day is if I can start writing about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and then just write until you say, aren't you hungry yet? That kind of day.
Have you always wanted to be a writer?
Yep. I found out that I did because I have this note in a scrapbook, and it was when I wrote to the person I wanted to be in 3rd grade, and the person that I had picked was the author Robert McCloskey of Make Way for Ducklings and Blueberries for Sal. So I wrote to him, and he actually wrote me back, which was great. And he's like, dear little Kaira, thank you for the note. I'm an illustrator, not an author. Pick better next time. So, that was my illustrious publishing career. But anyway, so I do know that that's what I wanted to do really early on.
So I want to dig in a little bit deeper on how you write the book, because you mentioned you're a pantser. Mm-hmm. And the flip side of that are plotters.
Correct.
Right? People who actually lay out an outline and a
Yeah,
plot.
those people make a lot more sense to people, actually. Those are the ones that are teaching classes about how to write a book. I think they would not want me to do that, because I would say just sit down and start writing. You have a character in your head, and then just go.
So you get a character, and what's next?
Then we just start writing.
You just start writing?
Yeah.
Okay, but is there something rolling around in the back of your head as to what the plot twists are gonna be, or
No.
the general theme? So to
No.
you, is getting that first character is just key,
And the setting.
and the setting.
Yes, because we lived in Ohio for a really long time, so my books are either set in Ohio, because that's in my imagination. I can just go there and I know where everything is. And then California now, where we live now, I'm settled enough there. I know where it is. And like I said, I just spent some time in Palm Springs, so it was okay to go there too, because the setting's kind of the backdrop, and it just has to be there.
Well, you did work Paris in too.
Oh, yeah, that was so fun. Yeah, because that time I did have to use like Google Maps and make sure I was doing things right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
these characters, like, this is perfect, because this book, with 4 points of view, you started out with Beth and her daughter driving, and you've got kind of a general idea why they're driving there, because
Yeah,
of
the engagement.
engagement, which was the original name of the book.
Oh yeah, it was a terrible name. I called it the engagement reunion, and it's just not good. But it was what it was about. But We Were Never Friends is a way better title. Yeah.
Okay, so then these characters start showing up. How do you know whose point of view is going to fill the next few pages?
Well, I really don't, but what I do keep track of is, like, Roxy, she's the queen bee, and she would have taken over the whole story. So if she started talking too much, then I'd have to kick her off stage and let somebody else on. And another character, Jamie, she's the cardiologist, she's kind of shy. So I would keep track when I'm writing, like, who's had a point of view chapter, and I would realize, like, Jamie's hiding again, so I'd have to bring Jamie back out. So yeah, stuff like that. And I also keep track of their lies. That's the other thing. Most of my characters have secrets, and they will give me hints. Might not know what the lie is at the time, but I'll just write it down.
And we're gonna open it up to questions here shortly, but a couple more here. So, Jill Is Not Happy was a book that came out just before We Were Never Friends. And that point of view is interesting, because it's two people.
Yeah, the husband and the wife.
Yeah, and present and future, or present and past.
Correct.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well,
A little bit of the premise.
yeah, well, okay, so, it was inspired by so we took a road trip during the pandemic to the Utah National Parks. I don't know if you guys have been there, but spectacular setting, just beautiful and so stark. And we were standing at the edge of Bryce Canyon and the sun's setting, and they have these things called hoodoos, which are like sandstone sculptures, and they're all down in this canyon, and they're shadowy, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And he's like, oh, I know what you're thinking. I'm like, yeah, I could really kill somebody here. It's gonna be really good. Only if they weren't being.
Of course, that's when I backed away from the edge of the canyon.
I'm talking fictionally, of course, but yes, so I did end up setting Jill Is Not Happy. I guess I like road trips too, because you're kind of stuck in a car next to the person. So Jill Is Not Happy starts with a road trip to the Utah National Parks, and Jill is not happy, as you find out pretty quickly into the story, because Jack has been cheating, and that is not allowed if you're Jill. No.
And Jill is scary.
No, she's fully empowered.
Do any of your characters ever scare you?
Yeah, they do. My most vivid scariness, but I wrote a book called Beneath the Surface, which is my only feature film option, which I'm really excited about. So I was writing it, and it's kind of a Succession meets Orange County, and the patriarch invites his 3 no-good children, spoiled children, to come for a weekend on his yacht, where he's going to decide who of the 3 he's going to leave the whole business to, and then terrible things happen. But I was writing the character of John, and I was upstairs in my office, and the sun had gone down, and I'm typing away, and all of a sudden I'm like, no, oh my God. So I had to close my laptop and run downstairs. I'm like, you would not believe what he just did. And he's like, Karen, these people are not real. I'm like, oh yes, he is, and he's upstairs. I'm not going back up there for a whole, I would not go back up there, because you don't know what he's going to do next. I couldn't let that happen. Yeah, it's really scary. Because if you don't know what they're going to do, some of them get carried away.
Yeah. Well, let's open up for questions. Yes?
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you have other people that read your books before you publish them?
So you do, yeah. And then I have a friend who will read them, and just it's because I keep it pretty close to. I don't have like a author group that I share stuff with. It's pretty tight, but maybe one or two people.
It's funny that you were talking about that and that you're pantsy, which I've never heard that term before, but it's kind of cute. Is last night I finished the book and I was like, how did she do this? You start from the beginning. I was like, did she start with the end and then develop the characters? And from what you're saying, so I was like wondering about that because it was so,
Don't give
the
anything
book
away.
just kept you going
Okay.
because you wanted to know what secret was going to be unfolded next. And that was the part that I liked, because usually I don't read a book very fast, but this one, and I wanted to get it read before I came tonight, I didn't have any trouble
That's awesome.
reading that book.
See, that's my favorite compliment. If I kept you up too late and you read fast, that's kind of what I like for people to come away from my books. But they tend to do short chapters, condensed timelines, and I just want you to be, laughing along maybe, and then also reading fast. So thank you.
And by the way, I'd say the same thing. That book, We Were Never Friends, the pace picks up so fast at the end. It's like you can't put it down. You got to keep turning the pages.
Yeah.
I'll pay you later.
Yes.
You and I are mortal enemies. What state am I from?
What?
You and I are mortal enemies. What state am I from?
Moral, Michigan. I love it.
Oh yeah, that's the football stuff. Yeah, he knows. I'm like, I don't know.
We got a couple more Ohio folks here too. Yes.
Yeah, did you base any of your characters on actual people, or did you all make it up all out of your head?
Yeah, I think as a author, but also as having like 5 or 6 careers, I think I have a lot of fodder in my brain, just from life experiences and people I've met. So no, I was back in Nashville where I went to college, where my sorority sisters came to the book signing. I'm like, you guys, this is not about you, I promise. And it's really not about anybody in particular, because what fiction, hopefully if it's done well, it takes like elements of real life and then spins it together and then makes somebody that maybe you recognize but you haven't ever met before. So I like Roxy. She's just one of those women who, when she opens the door to their fabulous desert home, her cocktail dress matches her cocktail, that kind of person. So she's just, they were all really fun to read.
But every once in a while, I will see an attribute that I know where she took that from, what person.
Yeah,
or
fiction,
a
we're
situation,
thieves, actually.
or something that happened, it's like, yep, I experienced that with you.
Yeah.
You did have one person back in Columbus, Ohio, who was convinced that horrible character was her, and it wasn't. But
I never thought about you when I was writing that, but I don't even remember your name. But go ahead and think that, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's funny.
How long did it take you to write the book?
Well, here's the literary answer: a lifetime. But some books come out really fast, and some are more slowly. This one was a pretty fast book, so I'd say first draft like 3 to 4 months.
Kaira, do you ever start being a fan, or do you ever start with something that hasn't come to fruition as a book? I mean, 24 and 26 years is one a year, right? That's pretty prolific. But do you ever just start writing and then it never turns into a book?
So far, so good, Dave. They've all just kind of, the other thing about being the other literary term for how I write is a developmental writer. I know, pantsers are fun, yeah. But I think, to me so far at least, I just kind of keep going.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a life thing, you just keep going.
Yeah.
But you do have a few books on the shelf that have not been sold, that they're a little bit different than our current genre. Then you have another one that just recently sold that you did with 2 other authors.
Oh, yeah. So I actually have this show called the Killer Author Club, and you guys, it's every other Tuesday. If you want to tune in, it's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But we interview crime writers, and it's really fun. And it started back in the pandemic when I had a book coming out called Somebody's Home, and we were all stuck at home. I'm like, that title is gonna kill me. But anyway, so we started it, and we've interviewed, hundreds of writers, and it's really fun. And we decided it'd be kind of nice to write a book together. So the 3 of us collaborated on a book, and we're in the And Kimberly Bell is the complete plotter. And then Heather Gudenkoff is somewhere in between us, and then, that's me over here, and so they were trying to teach me how to use Excel spreadsheets. I would try to wrap text, and then my things going over here, and then I'm moving boxes everywhere. They're like, just stay out of there. We'll just type it in for you. I'm like, okay, I'll be fine. But it was really fun, and you always learn something new.
And that book comes out when?
Oh, that comes out in January.
January, okay.
Yes.
When you wrote with the other people, did you each write a chapter? Did you combine? How often did you work together? Because I've read a couple of other books
Yeah.
that were like that.
Yeah, so we each have a character, and then we would probably talk once a week and go over, we'd each do 2 chapters, but it had to have a plot, right? I just tried to not look at it too much, the whole plotting part, but yeah, so because everybody has to kind of work together.
And are there 3 points of view then?
Yes.
Okay.
What's your biggest reader base outside of the US, and how did that happen?
Gosh, I don't, well, Canada's been great. Yeah, UK's been great. Oh,
I think it's a surprising one.
Estonia.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really know why.
We don't know why, but I don't
She's
know.
very popular in Estonia.
Yeah, and I haven't been there yet, and I need to go to Estonia.
Spices up life in Estonia.
Yeah, see, there you go.
New book title.
I need to go to Estonia.
Yes, sir.
Do you read books of the same genre as what you write, or are you kind of like you kind of stick to one genre, you write it, you read it?
I like to read a lot, so with the Killer Author Club show, now I have a book to read for that every other Tuesday, and often the benefit of this job is you get sent books to blurb, give endorsement quotes for. So if I'm not doing one of those 2 things, then I'm very happy to grab a book, either in my genre or a different one.
But what's interesting too is that, so as she mentioned, she's getting her master's in fine arts, which has just been a bucket list thing for a long, long time. She could probably be teaching the class. I mean, everybody in the class is like, why are you here? But she's enjoyed it, but you are doing some things you've not done in a really long time.
Yeah, like writing poetry. That's been so fun. Because I think just any kind of writing, I feel like I've done most every kind of writing through my career, but going back to writing poetry and thinking that way, I mean, I probably haven't even thought about it since 6th grade when you read Emily Dickinson back in the day, so it's been really fun.
Have you done audiobooks also?
Yes, the publisher handles that. And actually, We Were Never Friends has a great audiobook because they cast all 4 characters. And the narrators are all really well known, and they just do a great job. Yeah. Oops, there's something.
Yeah.
I have a question for the Harley. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. Have you come to have a spider sense for when you were talking about the canyon thing, how you were evacuating the egg? Have you gotten a spider sense for that?
Yeah, I'm starting to, yeah. It's just to self-preservation. But yeah, I mean, it's like, she's always trying to figure out ways to kill people. And usually it's a husband. I mean, one of the weirdest ones, not weirdest ones, recent ones was, we're old, so we've got a cardiologist, and we go to the cardiologist together, and what'd you ask him?
Well, I can't give it away, but I had to check if my theory about what a cardiologist could do was true. And he's like, I cannot tell you that. I'm a doctor, I save people. I'm like, no, you can tell me, come on, just tell me. And he was really worried. I mean, the funniest one,
Your answer.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, aha, I got it. Yeah, you can tell it.
I think one of the funniest ones was we were putting a new barbecue in our house, and the last thing you do is have the plumber come and hook up the gas line. And our plumber at that time was a guy named Larry. He was about 6'6", and looked like the quintessential plumber. And Kaira goes out while he's kind of bent over, hooking it up, and he stands up, straightens up, and Kaira says, "Hey, Larry, I've got a question for you."
Yeah, I need to blow somebody up. So if they turned on, how long would it take for them to build up enough for an explosion? And he's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's for a book I'm working on. He's like, I like Harley. And then he left and he never came back. Literally, that's a true story. He never came back. I totally scared this huge guy. I'm like, oh man, that was just for a story. But you can, in fact, do it. And I have. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
You mentioned that you have a movie in one of your books?
Yes.
But is the movie in production or it's already out?
It's, oh no, it is out, boy, you would hear about it, it's huge. But it is, and I,
How did that process go? How did that process go with the book and the
yeah.
and the movie?
Well, in this, I mean, a lot of people, and Lisa Barr, who's a famous author, she just came in and she has a movie too. But I think it happens all different ways. You have book to film agents, but in this case, the director had just walked into a bookstore and picked the book off the shelf and loved it. And he tried to get in touch with me. I'm terrible at, like, I don't know where he was, Instagram or Facebook messages, one of those, and I didn't answer for like three months or something. Anyway, so we finally went through like the book to film people and got a hold of me, but yeah, it was really fun. And he shared the screenplay with me, which I guess is unusual, but that's been really nice too. And it's even scarier than what John was up
Is
to
it
before.
close to your book, Kara, the screenplay? I've heard there's sometimes a lot of deviation.
It pushes it further. It's much scarier. Yeah. I think because with, what is that Onions one that,
Oh,
you know, anyway, I think movies to get
Knives Out.
attention, Knives Out, you have to keep kind of pushing it a little bit to make people stay too. So
But
he's,
essentially, to answer your question, it's a combination of, they're rewriting the script, or making a script based on the book. They're reaching out to potential actors and actresses. They're trying to find the money to bankroll the deal. All that's kind of going on. And then who commits to the film helps other people come on, so they can kind of go for the couple big names out of the gates to bring the rest of it.
Or a big
Play
name.
you, Harley?
Huh?
Who would you have play you?
in which book?
It's always
Yeah.
down, it's always down in the movie.
Yeah.
Paul Stroh.
Since you're a pantser in your style, what's the revision process like for you?
Yeah, my biggest editorial note is literally from every editor. It's like, so hey, great story, but we don't have any motivation for any of these characters, you know, because they're in my head, so I'm writing really fast, and so I'll have to go back and, you know, add some backstory, hopefully not to bore you, like I have to add some of that, and then, you know, some motivation that might not be clear, because to me it's clear because they're in my head, so that's my biggest revision note.
I just wanted to ask, when you are in, how do I say it? I want to say the mood to write. What headspace do you put yourself in? Like, what's going through your mind? Are you like thinking of one character and like just going with it? Are you like, I kind of want to know like how you get in the space to write for so long.
You know, I don't know. I just find it so fun that when it's time to sit down and start writing, I'm just happy.
You get excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get into it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you do, you've said before, it's a picture of a stage where they are kind of like actors, and so you know when to pull one person off and put the next person on.
Well, yeah, if they're about to tell a secret that they shouldn't be telling, then I got to get them off the stage. But otherwise, it's just kind of sitting down and going.
Who's your audience? Who are reading the books?
You know, there's so few demographic things out there, but I would say in general, it would be women 35 plus. Yeah, and I mean, I like to say that I write suburban fiction because I'm a product of the suburbs, so that's kind of the recognizable trait of all the settings that I use. And it's funny because I can be in Dallas and maybe the book's set in Columbus, but they're like, wait, this feels just like Dallas, you know, so hopefully that kind of translates.
Did you have a favorite character in this book? Anybody that stood out?
Well, when I took the quiz, I am
Well,
Sunny, so there you go. So I will say Sunny.
Well, we'll wrap it up and make a plea here.
Oh, yeah, this is-
Please buy
his
books.
sales pitch.
Why? Okay, first of all, you've got an independent bookseller back here, and this is a very difficult business. They work so hard. So you will make her and her bookstore so happy if you buy lots of books. And with Valentine's Day just around the corner, what better way to show the love you have for all of the friends and family by buying them books? And it's never too early to shop for Christmas. So think about that too. Buy lots of books, and Carol will be signing them right over there. Great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, guys.